Welcome to another edition of 360 Half Seconds. My name is Kia. I'm the VP of Sales for 360 Vet Sales. And with me today is 360 Vet Sales CEO, Matt Arena. Matt, how are you?
Doing well. How are you?
Doing well, thanks. And so I'm going to remind everybody just how this works really quickly. So what we do in 360 half seconds is I'm going to have a question for Matt, or maybe a couple questions for Matt. He gets 360 half seconds or 3 minutes to answer my question or questions. So Matt, are you ready for this?
I am.
Because I got a surprise for you today. Today, we got a question that came to us. Somebody shot me a note. Somebody who'd seen one of our past episodes shot me a note. And her name is Jennifer. And Jennifer had a question. And so you're not answering my question today. You're going to answer hers. You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. So Matt, Jennifer wants to know, what are some things that you should do to prepare yourself? If you're a veterinary owner, what are some things that you should do to prepare yourself to go to market? Time starts now.
Excellent. Okay. Good question. The first thing you should do is understand your timeline. You want to start thinking about preparing for sale at least 12 months before you're ready to do it, because you need to have time to get everything set up and get everything in order. Keep in mind, a buyer in today's market wants you to stay around for around 3 years. So you definitely want to make sure you have that lead time. The other thing that you want to do is get your accounting in order. I cannot stress this enough. Make sure you have good accounting, that it's all done right, everything's reconciled. Make sure that you have a good chart of accounts that's kind of like industry standard type of chart of accounts where you have your proper margins and everything's laid out. You want to probably get into the sweet spot. So you want to have your EBITDA, for example, 20 to 25% of revenue. That's going to yield you the highest valuation.
If you're above that.
What's that?
If you're above that.
If you're above that, if you're 25 to 30%, it's probably okay. But sometimes we see 30 to 40 to 50%. And just know, if that's the case, one is you're running a very profitable business for yourself. But the negative is from a buyer standpoint, they're going to say this is running too lean. They're going to add expenses and kind of bring your EBITDA down. Okay. So again, the sweet spot's probably EBITDA at that 20 to 25% range. That seems to be the well-oiled machine. You want to also get your production reports in order. And what I mean by that is you want to have a nice, well-balanced production by doctor. You don't want to have one doctor producing 80% and other doctors producing 5 to 10%. You want it more to be even keeled, so divided equally amongst all the doctors in your practice. You want to make sure that your doctors are compensated in the proper range. Today, I think we're seeing anywhere from 20 to 23% production. I'm sure it's a little plus or minus on that, but you want to make sure that that's, everybody's comped properly, because a buyer is going to go in and adjust it anyway. So the best thing to do is step in front of all of those things so that you're on the right track as far as not having your EBITDA get affected at the last minute by a buyer. I think that's probably everything that I would say, or at least that's the advice that I would give someone looking to go to market soon.
Okay. And if you could just, you mentioned this a lot when we talk, and I think this is really important for people to understand. When you say getting your accounting in order, right? So for instance, you mentioned, making sure everything is reconciled. Is there anything else specifically within getting your accounting in order that you would want to make sure,
Yeah, good question. So you want to have 2 to 3 years of good accounting, because everyone's going to look at that from a valuation standpoint. It's going to be very necessary. The chart of accounts is the listing of all your expense accounts. You're going to want to make sure you're tracking everything right, and you have revenue and pharmaceuticals and labs and everything kind of broken out and separated. So that's what I mean when I say you want to have a nice chart of accounts. Okay. You want to make sure your books are all reconciled and that they're done properly. You don't want a buyer to come in and identify mistakes in your financial statements. They might ask a question, and when everyone dives into it, they go, "Oh, gosh, that was a mistake or an error. We'll fix it and correct it." Because now your numbers start moving around, and what happens is the confidence level in your numbers goes down, and that'll cause a decrease in your valuation as well.
That makes sense. So basically, and your time's up, and thank you for answering, Matt. That was a really good answer. So basically what you're saying is you don't want to be in a situation where, you could have all of your accounting be great, but if they find just 5 errors, they may start to think, well, this whole thing is full of errors.
That's correct.
Okay. And that will in turn make them lowball you with an offer potentially.
Exactly.
Because
Yep.
Okay. Well, Matt, really appreciate it. keep the questions coming, people. If there are things that you want to see us cover on 360 half seconds, we're happy to do it. Just shoot me a note like Jennifer did, and we'll make sure that we talk about what you want on this show. And additionally, please leave us any comments that you have. And if you have questions about your own practice, we're here to help. You know, anything that you want to know specific to your practice, shoot me a note. I'm Kia at 360vetsales.com. That's Matthew at 360vetsales.com. We're happy to answer your questions. We're happy to look at your practice. We're happy to do evaluation for you. No strings attached. And thanks again for tuning in. See you next week.